I will never forget the ending of the 1975 movie, The Stepford Wives. I was only about 14 years old at the time, but I understood the chilling implication. Serene, tidy women, innocuous women, were more desirable than the messy, emotional women who weren't afraid to voice their opinions and emotions. Unfortunately, this exaggerated tale exemplifies a theme that runs through our culture and is still happening today. Oftentimes, women are encouraged from little girls on to push down their negative emotions and appear more serene and calm and cheerful. Now, it's not just women who have to push down their emotions. Men, too, are told to push down some of their most heartfelt emotions. Even today, it's more socially acceptable for a man to show anger when he's out in the world than tears. Whereas women are expected to push down their so-called male emotions, men are sometimes or oftentimes chided for allowing the outside world to witness feelings that are labeled more feminine, such as vulnerability and fear. Mix these long-term social norms with now the tidal wave I've noticed, and a lot of other people have noticed, that flashing across our social media screens of all these positive affirmations that if we don't follow, we feel like, and we don't suck it up, we feel even less than, and it's a wonder that we're not all imploding. An article published in The Atlantic called How to Get Better at Expressing Emotions by Julie Beck notes that studies have shown the more we push down our emotions, especially the negative ones, the more an overall stress happens for us in our lives. In this piece, she interviews a psychologist by the name of David Caruso. And I am going to quote something he says. He says, American culture demands that the answer to the question, how are you, is not just good, but sometimes great. He goes on to say, there's this relentless drive to mask the expression of our true underlying feelings. So how do we appropriately convey our negative feelings? So the psychologist Caruso says that one of his recommendations is to use emotional words or emotion words. And that's not the loaded hate or terrible or horrible, but more accurate descriptions of what's going on for you. So for example, you're in a hurry, you're trying to get out the door to work, you can't find your keys, you finally find them, you get in your car, you hit a traffic jam, you get in the office and your boss is angry at you, you're late. You turn the corner and you see a coworker and he asks, how are you doing today? And instead of the perfunctory, I'm fine, you may want to say something along the lines of, I'm overwhelmed. That is more accurate of your emotions at the time. And what that will do is that will cue your coworker and the people around you to treat you hopefully in a better manner. And what I believe too is that when you're more authentic, you create more authentic relationships. The other thing that Caruso notes, what you could do is to tune into your physiological signals. So if your jaw's tense, your shoulders, your stomach's clenched, ask yourself, am I stressed? Am I anxious? And then go beyond that and just ask yourself, well, what caused that emotion to come up for me? And when you check in with yourself like that and you become more self-aware, then you can emote your emotions in a more appropriate way. An article called 3 Ways to Know When to Show Your True Emotions by Dr. Susan Whitbourne in Psychology Today goes on to say that pushing down our emotions is not the most adaptive strategy. And that middle-aged people, they found in studies, have learned so well to push down their emotions that they have forgot how to even confront their emotions. And I wanted to say this quote because I think this is really sad and poignant. Quote, "And they were less likely than younger people to seek social support when they're sad and angry." So in much the same way that the psychologist Caruso recommends self-awareness, Dr. Whitbourne states this: "The better you understand yourself, including your emotional triggers, and the better you're able to cope when those triggers set you off, the more likely you'll know whether it's okay or not to vent." And this is a good thing because we all know in this room, we're not gonna just fly off the handle at any moment. It's not to your advantage to vent too much, or if at all, to maybe your bosses or coworkers or clients. However, we're all gonna still feel our emotions. And no matter how many people are gonna tell you to stay strong and how many sunset-strewn quotes you're gonna be seeing flashing across your screen telling you to, you better turn those negative things in life into something positive, you're gonna still feel what you're gonna feel, damn it. So recognize that. Don't push your emotions down. Don't let them fester so much that they boil up and become an overall sense of anxiety or stress. Rather, be mindful of why a certain negative emotion has struck, and then think about how and with whom you can safely share it with. In conclusion, you can always do what this author does if all else fails. While you're doing the dishes, you're driving your car, crank up the music and swear up a blues string.